Hello Internet, my name is Daniel O'Brien and welcome to another episode of Obsessive Pop Culture Disorder, the show I will keep doing until I die, which will be never, so suck it, everyone. Today's episode explores... Am I still talking about a children's movie from 1989? At some point you're gonna have to see other movies, future Daniel. Never, past Daniel. You wiener. The Little Mermaid is a timeless movie about a confusingly normal-sized mermaid who falls in love with a human man and through a series of magic shenanigans and parental negligence manages to leave the underwater kingdom she once called home to marry a handsome prince who also runs a kingdom. It's your classic riches to different riches story. And a movie I loved growing up, and yet I will feel nothing as I ruin it right now for you, the people. Let's start right at the top. King Triton presides over the kingdom of Atlantica, as well as the whole sea. He has a magic trident and way too many daughters. And speaking of which, hey, Trident, do you start every morning with a concert where you force your daughters to sing a song about how great it is being one of King Triton's daughters? Or is that just like an annual thing?
We are the daughters of Triton, great father who loves us and named us well.
It's whatever the answer, you have too many of those concerts. Want a shortcut to getting your people to hate you? Start every morning forcing them to sit through one of your children's middle school concerts. Our worst kings wouldn't do that, and our worst kings murdered their own wives. Ariel actively hates you. You make no attempt to understand her. You destroyed all her stuff, and you still have the gall to be like, by the way, the mandatory We Totally Love Being King Triton's Kids opera has been rescheduled to next week. Don't forget this time. It's important that all the fish know how great I am. That doesn't make him a bad ruler, per se. It's just like a shitty guy. He's also wildly unstable, which does make him a bad ruler. See the aforementioned destruction of everything Ariel holds dear.
So be it.
And his never explained hatred for Ursula. But if you want more proof of his general instability, look no further than the distance between your face and the computer screen at me, because I'm going to tell you about the Little Mermaid prequel. In Ariel's beginning, we learn that Triton had a beautiful, music-loving wife who died when a boat smashed her, and became so distraught that he banned music in his kingdom.
I will not have music in my kingdom!
For 10 years, he would jail anyone who was caught playing music, and when he found a deep-sea music club, had it destroyed. He even tried to hold his daughters prisoner when he heard them singing, until he eventually completely changed his mind, I guess because Ariel does something sweet, which is sort of his MO. So, you've got a man who has ultimate power over all oceans, and he makes insane and oppressive rules over his subjects, but will change his mind on a whim, and he's in charge. An all-powerful sea god with no friends is running everything down below. And I don't totally know how oceanic monarchies work, but if they borrowed anything from us, Atlantica is in trouble, because Triton fathered no sons, just a shitload of singing daughters. The Triton name will die with him. With no clear heir to his sea throne, it wouldn't be out of line to assume that he's just gonna stick around getting crazier and more depressed and lonelier and shittier. Like that old king in that one Piebald song. Great reference, Daniel. My point is that everything about Triton is insane, and he's the most powerful being in the ocean. It's also worth noting that the 2 times King Triton changed his mind about one of his crazy rules only happened because Ariel convinced him that he was being unreasonable. She's the one who could make him see clearly, and he let her off to the mainland. Now I was gonna talk sense to him. Flounder?
Then the seagull came, and it was this is this, and that is that.
Actually, that wouldn't be so bad. He always urged caution, and his general cowardice made him fairly pragmatic and logical. He also managed to get the statue of Eric into Ariel's Cove of bullshit. That's pretty clever, shows ingenuity. I don't know how he got that statue in there. There's no clear entrance. Plus it's heavy. Impressive work, Flounder.
Flounder, you're the best.
Could do worse than Flounder as a consigliere. That's all I'm saying. What? I still have more to say about King Triton. Fine. Right. Ariel's the heroine in the movie. She saves Eric, talks sense to Triton, and looking back was probably my first crush. Hey, girl. The point is, we're all supposed to love her, but hey, she's 6 goddamn teen. Computer, when was the last time a 16-year-old made a good decision? What's that? No? Still just the never then? Okay, yeah, good. Never happened. I agree. Our children are toilet people. We're meant to assume that Eric and Ariel's bond is based on true love, but at the end of the day, she's a 16-year-old who falls in love with literally the first human she sees up close. And he, at first, falls in love with her because of her beautiful voice. But then, when he meets the version of her that can't talk, he's like, oh, this is even better. I love this one now. And that wasn't a red flag to her, because she's 16. Their entire courtship takes place when she isn't a mermaid and can't sing, which are ordinarily 2 defining things for the Little Mermaid. And when she did reveal herself as a mermaid and got her voice back, their deal at the end didn't involve dates. Crazy Triton gave her legs, and the 2 of them got married at 16 to one of the first anything she has feelings for. She hadn't dated other mermen or even other landmen. This is the marriage of actual land royalty and actual sea royalty. This is a big deal. It will impact everyone in the world, and it happened with zero vetting whatsoever. There are two things we know for sure in the Little Mermaid universe. Fish are sentient beings with emotions and personalities and friendships and dreams, and Eric is the seafaring prince of a coastal kingdom. Flounder was Ariel's best friend, and I'm gonna assume that Prince Eric caught and ate his fair share of flounder, unless this is one of those coastal kingdoms that doesn't consume fish, which, computer, yeah, those don't exist. The people who lived in that village, or town, or kingdom, or principality most likely make their living fishing and trading. We already know that Prince Eric employed a chef who took personal, almost sexual joy in killing and cooking sea creatures.
First I cut off their heads and I pull out their bones.
What are you gonna serve at your wedding, Eric? Fish? It'd be weird if you didn't. Or maybe, out of love, Eric will outlaw fishing as a trade. But then, hey, guess what, guy? If you do that, you just put a whole lot of your subjects out of work. His options are ruin the fishing trade that guaranteed provides the livelihood of a number of his people, or get his new child bride on board with the fact that she might eat a bunch of her friends at some point. These are issues that would have come up during the dating process that never happened because Ariel and Eric decided to get married after 3 days during which no conversations actually took place. That's just true of how dating works. There's a woman I'm seeing now, and early on, like second date, I was like, before we take this further, you're not killing and eating any of my friends, right? And she was like, I can't know that, but probably not. She's pretty cool. Oh boy, we are running out of time here, but holy shit, these are some dummies. When Ariel is singing about wanting to be a part of Eric's world, she stumbles and forgets the word for feet.
What do you call them? Oh, feet.
Crabs have feet. Scuttle has feet. How much could you possibly have studied the culture you claim to be ready to join if feet and street are blind spots? And Eric, he takes her on a romantic boat ride and tries to guess her name. Sidebar Ariel, you could have just written it down. We all already know that you know how to do that with your eyes literally closed. And when Eric struggles coming up with her name, a crab whispers it to him, and he just assumes he came up with it? He doesn't question the fact that that was the right answer? He assumes it was his original thought? Is his inner monologue always in a thick Jamaican accent?
All the time.
Also, before that, you thought her name was Mildred?
Okay, no.
You absolute clod? These are bad dates, by the way. Every date they go on is just garbage, and... Ready? Shit. Okay. Time on the clock. Roll the clip.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
This whole joint never could have happened because smaller sound waves like that fellow playing the flute scatter in the ocean, while lower pitches and larger sound waves like those performed by the Duke of Soul move differently, meaning it would be impossible for these disparate instruments to come together in a meaningful way for a song, and it would just sound like a nightmare of cacophony. Moving on! Duke of Soul's depiction? Super racist. Forward! Mermaids and mermen live with fish and crabs and eels and monsters, but they're all still afraid of sharks? What's that deal? Does Triton rule Atlantica and the sea, or doesn't he? If goddamn seahorses can talk and those little doodads that Ursula makes have faces, why are sharks still just vicious, angry sharks? It's like all animals have personalities and can communicate except sharks and Max the dog. Go! Ariel, the thingamabobs of which you have 20 are corkscrews.
I got 20.
And that's, 20 is not an impressive amount of corkscrews. They're not collector's items. Someone tried to show off their corkscrews, I'd be like, oh, I've got the one, and it just turns out that that's the right amount. Onward! Flounder describes a sunken pirate ship as damp.
It looks damp in there.
You're in the ocean. What the fuck are you talking about? Proceed! Sebastian starts to offer Ariel a warm glass of something. They're at the bottom of the ocean. If they figured out how to heat drinks, then why does Ariel wonder?
What's a fire and why does it? What's the word?
You either understand the concept of relative temperatures or you don't. Pick a side. How does Sebastian have a specific regional accent? It's a goddamn ocean of white people, and he's like, I'm a not from here. F***ing how? Advance. Grimsby is weirdly excited when he thinks Ariel is gonna smoke out of his pipe. Is that a thing for old guys? Is that like, oh, she's gonna go nuts for this hand-carved calabash. Can't wait to see that happen. And then she ends up blowing a bunch of ash into his face. And everyone's cool with it. Why is that cute? Upwards. What is Scuttle's deal? We haven't even gotten to him yet. They make him an authority. Ow. Damn. God, I love this movie so much. I'm gonna watch it the second I get home. Alan Menken, man. All day. That's all I have on this topic. Join us next time when our subject will be the birthplace of rap in the Delta Blues America. Sounds like a college essay. I don't want to write that. God damn you, Past Daniel, you've got me again. You were history's worst monster. Did you know that? Anyway, bye. Hey everybody, thank you for watching that Little Mermaid thing. If you want, you can go in the comments and broadly speculate what Scuttle's deal is, since we never got to it. Thanks, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out this book by Christopher Moore, Serpent of Venice. It's really good.